What's up, gang of Lane? Carolina Jackpot coming at you on Sunday afternoon. I know that yesterday, prior to 12 p.m., you was hoping that you get to see a reactionary video from Carolina Jackpot after a loss to Vanderbilt. Don't lie. I know there's a lot of Gamecock haters on the subscriber list, and that's fine. I'm good with that. We welcome all kinds here. I don't discriminate whatsoever. But didn't happen yesterday. Did not happen. Gamecocks with huge 41-7 win in SEC play on the road at Vanderbilt in front of zero fans. Zero fans. Don't get that. I don't know if that is a Nashville, Tennessee thing. I don't know if it's a Vanderbilt thing, but there's nobody in the stands there. I know it's not a state of Tennessee thing, because Tennessee had fans at their game last week against Mizzou. So it's whatever. The atmosphere was weird. Playing in front of a bunch of cardboard cutouts had to be extremely strange, especially for the South Carolina players who haven't experienced that yet. But it is what it is. They went out and they did what they needed to do to get a win. First off, just some stats here from the game I'm going to throw out, in case you don't, how to look them up or whatever. Colin Hill, quarterback, 16 of 24, 196 yards, no interceptions. Again, that's 2 games in a row by Colin, no interceptions. He's only thrown one this year. It was a devastating one, though. Pick 6 against Tennessee. Saw Nick Muse as the leading receiver, our tight end. 5 catches for 85 yards. Hit him on like a nice 35, 36-yard pass, and we were backed up to like our own 2-yard line there in the first half. So good job with him. Vanderbilt did a good job of shutting down Hill's chances to get the ball to Shi Smith. They did a good job kind of doubling down on him a little bit. So, I mean, Derek Mason's a good defensive coach, and he will be able to take some of those edges away from you, but Vanderbilt just doesn't have they're not stacked all over that defense where they can take away everything from you. So when one door is closed, they're going to leave another one open. It's just not. It's not a indictment on Vanderbilt. I'm not taking a shot at them, but it is what it is. Kevin Harris yesterday, 171 yards on the ground. That's the most yards rushing by a Gamecock player that I've seen in a long time. I can't exactly remember how long that's been, and I would have to go look it up. I didn't do a heck of a lot of research for this thing, but I would say probably back when Mike Davis played. Kevin Harris rushed for a lot of yards last year in the win against Charleston Southern. I don't really count that. I mean, it was more, that was a game against a bad FCS team. So a long of 88-yard touchdown run. Man, that was awesome. Vanderbilt on the other side of the spectrum there. True freshman quarterback Ken Seals went 17 of 24. 148 yards. He did throw a touchdown. He didn't throw any interceptions. He did fumble the ball one time and lose it. He got thing was recovered by Jordan Birch. Nice to see Jordan Birch get on the action. He done had a couple of tackles himself, and he's played a lot this year, a lot more than I actually thought he was going to play. So I was happy to see that. Kind of not really happy with them letting him, go 17 to 24. Not really happy with 17 to 24. I felt like they didn't get as much pressure on the quarterback as they should have. They did have a sack from Ernest Jones. He had 11 total tackles. One of those was a sack. I don't think you can ask for much more from your middle linebacker. Ernest Jones, the hell of a job yesterday. Ricky Sandage, one of my favorite players, shares time there on the defensive line and tackle position. He got a sack, and but that was about it as far as that goes. I felt like they should have sacked that quarterback at least 5 times yesterday. But you know, their line held up, and we didn't get enough push from our defensive line there, especially in the first half. That could be an issue going forward. 75 yards rushing by Keon Henry Brooks. No touchdowns, though. Their backup quarterback threw an interception. They had 3 fumbles. And, of course, they lost the one, which the aforementioned when I talked about Seals put it on the ground. And Jordan Birch got the recovery on that. So that's it. I mean, I Carry-On Joyner took a little got a little flip pass, 47-yard touchdown. That was great. I was so great to see him get out there, contribute something, be allowed to contribute something, show off his athleticism, and make a big play and get a touchdown. I did predict that either him or Luke Doty would get a touchdown in this game, and I was absolutely correct on that. If you've watched this channel enough, you know I'm a big fan of the Carry-On Joyner, as much I'm a big fan of everybody on the team, mostly, but I like him because, I mean, he came in to play quarterback. He was recruited to play quarterback. He got shifted over to the wide receiver room last year. You know, everybody thought he was going to transfer, this, that, and other, but he's going to be gone from you Coots. He's not going to blah, 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 blah. And, you know, hell, I mean, it still could happen. You never know. But he came out and he made the statement that he would play whatever position on that team that they needed him to play, you know, for us to win football games. And that just speaks a lot to his, you know, his upbringing and his commitment to the game of football, and his ability to follow orders, and his ability to just do the right thing and do what needs to be done. So I'm a huge fan of his, always will be, and that was great. So that I love that. I love the fact that I didn't see the dropped passes yesterday that I have. A couple things I didn't like. Number one, I didn't like the first half intensity. They came out just kind of lackadaisical, in my opinion. Kind of let Vanderbilt, you know, get a couple of drives going there that they stalled out. You know, Vandy missed a field goal. Another time they drove the ball down deep in our territory. They couldn't do anything with it. Got stopped on 4th down, I believe. You know, we got to clean that up. You got to clean that up. We can't not allow things like that to happen against them. Oh, somebody else, real quick, that I want to throw a shout out to in the defensive back, Cam Smith got interception. Good to see that. It's been forever, it seems like, since we've intercepted a pass. Or I don't know, maybe not. I can't remember if we got one last week or not. But Cam Smith got himself an interception. And Shiloh Sanders, number 21, Deion Sanders' son. Man, that kid got a couple of tackles yesterday. He laid an absolute lick. Vandy receiver there in the second half, man. He brought the wood. I like to see that. I like hard hits, like big hits, and he definitely brought it yesterday. Something else I didn't like, yeah, like I said, the first half intensity, you know, pissed me off. No, not enough pass rush on Vanderbilt. You know, it was a tale of two halves. I mean, the first half, I mean, we really looked like a steaming pile of shit that first half, even though we were up 10-0. Very little generated in the way of anything positive. But after, you know, the second half, really just unloaded on them and just imposed our will on Vanderbilt, if you will. How in the world Texas A&M was able to beat Florida yesterday and could only muster up a 17-12 win at home against this team, I'll never know, right? But that's part of the reason why we watch college football. I mean, because you never know what the heck you're going to see. You never know what the heck you're going to see. It's unpredictable. It's exciting. You know, if the same thing happened every week, every year, I mean, we'd stop watching. I mean, it kind of does, though, with the Clemson Tigers, don't it? What's it been, 3 years since they've lost a regular season game? Yep, last night they added another one to it. Y'all watched that video. You shared in my misery and discomfort with that, but this video is not about them. I saw some pass plays, some stuff that went to our running backs in the backfield kind of get blown up a little bit. So our downfield blocking has got to get better by those wide receivers. I did kind of joke about, you know, or about Decarrion Joyner and Luke Doty. They said they didn't give them enough reps because they weren't good downfield blockers. But like I said, put them in there on a passing situation, you know. But again, I guess if you're a good defensive coordinator, you can kind of read that, right? I think Derek Mason did a good job of reading South Carolina's offense yesterday, especially in the first half. There was a lot of negative plays there and a lot of stuff that made me mad. But ultimately, I mean, it didn't matter. The superior team, you know, better talent all the way around on both sides of the ball, ended up doing what they needed to do and get a good win, good solid win. Something else that really made me mad, and I talked about this one yesterday on a video on it, which I don't know if y'all saw it or not. If you did, great. I'll just rehash it real quick. If you didn't, then listen up. You'll find out. So we're ahead, 3-0. I believe it was 3-0 at the time. And they bring Parker White on, our field goal kicker, after a drive stalls. And it's, I don't know, it was 4th and 9 or 10, I think. May have been 4th and 12. And, you know, we're, what, so it's a 54-yarder, we're what, on Vanderbilt's 37-yard line? You know, instead of just going for it on 4th down, I mean, we flip the field, we don't make it, so what? You know, Vandy gets the ball back on like their own 30-yard line. They ain't going to do nothing with it. Instead, the whole time that he's coming out there on the field, you know, Todd Ellis and them on the radio are talking about how Parker White's tied with Colin Mackey, a guy from back in the late 80s, early 90s, as far as in field goals for the Gamecocks. Like 15 field goals in a row without a miss. So what do? You know, they trot him out here to try a 54-yard field goal, which is a difficult kick for a college kicker to make. Now, granted, these guys have bigger and stronger legs than they used to, okay? So it's not as much of a difficult situation as it used to be, but it's still a hard field goal to hit, especially in a bad weather situation, which I don't think it was raining at the time, but I mean, the turf was nasty. It was just not a good day all the way around as far as that goes. You're going to have him try a 54-yarder, which he missed, and which ended his streak unnecessarily. Why couldn't we have just not gotten in his way and let this young man continue to have his streak? And see, I don't even know if Muschamp is smart enough to even look at things like that. I really don't. I mean, I suspect that he is, and that he's just that dumb in-game coach who does dumb stuff. There was no reason to try that long-ass field goal in that situation. None whatsoever. You could have gone for it, and the likelihood that you would have gotten it, you probably wouldn't at that point in the game because you weren't playing very well offensively, moving the ball. But, I mean, if you did, good. You continue to drive. If not, it doesn't matter because you already know that Vanderbilt's offense is hot doo-doo. There was no sense in that. It made no sense whatsoever. And something else that I didn't like was at the end of the first half, we got the ball back. We got the ball back with like a minute to go here. We're starting a little drive, and we're right here around midfield, and the clock's ticking, 7, 8. Why am I counting up? 8, 7, 6, 5. We're trying to get lined up. We can't get lined up, and we ultimately we ran out of time. We ran out of time. Couldn't get a pass play off. And after the game, Muschamp said that they were going for it. They were going to go for the end zone. Congratulations, Will. You finally got out of your shell a little bit. I can see you starting to get, and I could see flashes yesterday of them starting to get out of the shell a little bit. Letting Decarrion Joyner run that one, that was good. I enjoyed seeing that. So I can see flashes of trying to get out of the shell. But the thing was, they had 2 or 3 players down here on the other end of the field who needed to be part of that 11 for that offensive formation right there, that were jawing with a Vanderbilt player. They were talking shit. So we ran out of time. That's discipline. That's a lack of discipline. That's a lack of coaching right there. That is exactly what that is. That just is about like those stupid personal foul penalties that we get from time to time. There's no sense in that. that shit should be handled, and it shouldn't be happening anymore. That's year one stuff. That's year one stuff. We shouldn't. I mean, what do they talk shit to a Vanderbilt player about for anyway? Yeah. Go back to your calculus book, motherfucker. What the hell? Yeah. Go back and try to get me some kind of equation. Yeah, fuck you, man. I'm gonna be a fucking architect. I'm gonna build one of these stadiums one day, motherfucker. What are Vanderbilt players? I mean, how they talk shit? It's amazing. It was amazing. Then I heard this yesterday. All game long from these announcers on the SEC crap network, I call it sometimes, because these announcers it's pitiful. I mean, the announcing sometimes on some of these games is horrible. I tuned in some yesterday, the Texas A&M Vanderbilt game, and the announcers over there, I think that one was on the ESPNU, of the Florida Texas A&M game, excuse me. I don't think, half the time they weren't even announcing anything, and all that you got was what was coming from the stadium, from the public address announcer, and then it says here to listen to the traditional broadcast, click over to ESPN. I'm like, what's going on here? Some of the streaming kind of like gets in the way of what the heck is being streamed. I don't know. But anyway, all I heard about was Vanderbilt's got some COVID issues. Vanderbilt's got 58 players able to dress up. Vanderbilt was barely able to field a team today. Blah, 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 blah. You know, and I heard it from other fan bases as well, talking shit. Well, you know, if Vandy had the right amount of players out there, it would have been a different game. Okay, you do realize that in a road game, you're only allowed to take like 64, 65 players with you, right? So they had maybe 8 players less than what they would take on a road trip. Do you think that they were really missing anybody who would have made a hell of a lot of difference? Come on. Do you really? Okay, let's just say that it made 14 points difference, okay? It made 14 points difference, okay? So then it would have been 27-7 Carolina instead of 41-7. Or it could have been 41-21 Carolina instead of 41-7. What's the difference? They got their ass kicked anyway. And that 14 points is very, very, very generous. I seriously doubt that it would have been worth any points, but maybe. Whatever. And I'm not making fun of the fact that the guys had COVID issues. That's terrible. I hope they get over it. And I hope they, get better or whatever. But, I'm not going to go out there and I mean, Virginia Tech was down to basically 22 players and a freaking kicker, okay, for the past, I don't know, month. And they just lost their first game yesterday. They were kicking ass and taking names, even without all those players. So I don't want to hear it. Oh, Vanderbilt, they just didn't have a full roster here. You have to be prepared for that. I mean, you have to be prepared for that this year. I mean, it's unlike any other year that we've encountered. And the fact that they weren't ready for it, I mean, just speaks volumes to the fact that athletically and depth-wise and talent-wise, they were challenged. And then they couldn't live up to it. And then South Carolina's just better. We're just better than we were. So here we sit. We're 1-2 right now. What does the rest of the season hold? I honestly don't know, man. I cannot tell you what this season holds. Could we go 1-9? We certainly could, because, I mean, just looking at that schedule, again, top to bottom, the other game that I was counting on there would be a probable win was Missouri. Well, hell, Missouri looked pretty damn good yesterday. I mean, their quarterback play, their offense, I mean, it's just come out of nowhere, which I thought that it would. That with Eli Drinkowitz there as head coach, is a good offensive mind, and I figured they'd start scoring some points, and they did yesterday. Had a big-time win for them at home over LSU. And to all the damn naysayers out there who want to disparage it and say, well, LSU's only a third of the team that they were last year. So, whatever. It's LSU. They're still good. They're still probably, in a regular year, an 8-9 win type team. So Missouri beating them was a huge feather in their cap. They were down 14-point underdogs. at home, and they covered the spread and took down, you know, a team that won the national championship last year easily. Me, LSU won the national championship easily. Not that they beat them easily. It was a back and forth game. So there's that. Ole Miss is a team that I feel like South Carolina can put a lot of points up against. But, you know, once again, I mean, our defense, you know, you're going 17 or 24 with Kenny Seals. I mean, what's the Ole Miss's quarterback, you know, who's actually worth a shit going to do to you, right? What's their running back who's actually worth a shit going to do to you? I mean, I can see that one being a high-scoring game. You know, I'd kind of look to Kentucky and say Kentucky doesn't really look all that great this year. And they came out yesterday with a pretty impressive win. So, I mean, I don't know where the wins are going to come from. I mean, LSU on the road. I mean, they haven't done anything to impress anybody yet. I don't know if they're going to fix it. You know, South Carolina could go in there and still win. We could definitely get a win next weekend. Next weekend is crucial. The Tennessee game was crucial. And we blew it. We're getting another chance right now to right the ship. If we can win this Saturday and go 2-2, I'll be extremely happy. That will be a huge coup for Gamecock Nation to beat Auburn. And look, they're not what they were. They're not what they were last year. They've lost a lot on the, especially on the defensive front side of the ball, right? But you know, always a decent team, always an above average to sometimes fringing on cracking the top 10 conference championship type team. So, you know, we'll definitely be underdogs at home. I'd say, I don't know, they rode the struggle bus yesterday to a win over Arkansas, but Arkansas looks better than they did. I'd say Carolina will probably open up a 9 or 10 point underdog at home. You know, there's not a lot of respect for us out there right now. I mean, for good reason, because our coach is a bumbling idiot, and you have to do things to, you know, you got to do things to earn the respect. You know, and right now we just don't have it. A win Saturday would go a long way towards not only respectability within the program, but respectability nationally. It really would. You know, I'd like to see South Carolina get to like 3-2, 4-2, maybe, you know, be ranked for once, you know, before, you know, all these Big Ten teams invade everything and kind of knock the polls a little bit topsy-turvy when that happens. When are they supposed to start? The 24th? Yeah, so we got 2 weeks. That means we need to get 2 wins under our belt. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We got an off week in there somewhere too. We might be off after Auburn. I'm not sure. This year's schedule has thrown me for a loop with them changing it and everything. But there's that. And to the naysayers that say, "Oh, Gamecocks you're not gonna stand a chance. You're gonna get your doo-doo pushed in by Auburn. You hadn't beaten them since 1931. You hadn't beaten them since the first year the Model A was invented. Blah blah blah. You're not gonna beat Auburn." Well, you know what? You may be right, but you know what? You also might be wrong. They don't do anything to scare or impress me, and if South Carolina's defense can get after it and shut Bo Nix down, I think that we definitely have a chance to get a win there in that game at home. I don't think they're really any better than Tennessee. They may be, you know, just slightly better than Tennessee, but, you know, we can play a slightly better ball game. I can't talk today. Than we did against Tennessee, and that would negate that. So there's that. Stay tuned. Later on, I will be reviewing my picks against the spread from last Friday morning, giving you the winners, the losers, the turd of the week, the you should have known better pick of the week, and the boy you sure nailed it pick of the week. We had some good ones last week. I think that record's going to be mighty nice just by first glances at it. I haven't totaled anything up yet. I don't actually do that, believe it or not, until we take pen to paper right here, so you get to see kind of a live reaction to my record for the week and how I did. So I'll see y'all later. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Click the bell notification. Lets you know whenever Carolina Jackpot goes live. We do a podcast live stream recording here on Wednesday nights and Wednesday nights and Sunday nights at 9:30 with my co-host Rob Sanders and the comrade Mike Dobreski. It's called the Rob, Comrade, and Kale Show. We have a lot of fun with that. Right now we're in the midst of a big college football pick'em challenge. I know with a lot of you guys that's not your thing. You don't like the podcast recording that I do. You don't like the other two guys for whatever reason. That's fine. I mean, you don't have to watch those. But still, click that bell so you get the notifications. Now, YouTube's been acting screwy. The past week or so, and they have not let people know when Carolina Jackpots went live. So just click that anyway. That will work itself out. They always work themselves out. YouTube just has these glitches. I mean, my God. I mean, how many channels, how many people are watching YouTube? I mean, it's millions and millions and millions upon millions. So there are going to be screw-ups along the way. But click that bell and subscribe if you're not already. I would appreciate it. We went over 8,000 subs over the weekend, which is not a huge high water mark for some big-time YouTubers, but for me, it is. When I look back to the fact I only had a couple of thousand of you guys just like 2 years ago, and I mean, this channel has blown up exponentially. I'd like to get to 10,000 subs by the end of the year. That's a long road to hoe. That's kind of a high water mark, and I'd be standing in some tall cotton if I could get that many people join up in just a few short months. But I think it can be done. Because people are looking for an alternate form of entertainment right now. Okay, I tried to close this video for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and I've still been rambling on, so I'll see you guys later. Peace. I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Despite that huge win, still fire Coach Boom, baby. Spurs up to my toes up. It's a great Sunday to be a big old cock.